What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'll be talking about what remains in the 2024 to 2025 NASCAR silly season. We'll talk about things that have been confirmed in the recent weeks and talk about all the other stuff that has not been confirmed so far in the silly season and the unanswered questions up to this point. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Let's first begin by talking about things that have been confirmed so far for the silly season. Let's begin by talking about Kyle Busch. It was confirmed a few weeks ago that Kyle Busch will be returning to Richard Childress Racing in 2025. Kyle Busch did have an option here, and there was rumors circulating that he can go to Hendrick or Joe Gibbs Racing, but we know it got confirmed a few weeks ago that they have picked up his option here with RCR. Now, Kyle Busch could leave RCR at the end of the 2025 season because he might not pick up that option here if things don't get better at RCR, but he will stay with RCR in 2025. Another driver that's expected to return to their organization potentially in 2025 is Aric Almirola. He's still expected to drive multiple races in 2024. He got suspended for a while from JGR, and many had speculated that Aric Almirola was not going to be returning to the team going forward after the altercation between him and Bubba Wallace in a Toyota competition meeting. But Aric Almirola is going to stay with JGR for at least the foreseeable future. Then it was confirmed about a month ago that Josh Berry would be returning to the Wood Brothers, or joining the Wood Brothers actually, in 2025. He has signed a multi-year deal with the organization. We don't know who the crew chief is at this point for that 21 car, but we do know for a fact that Josh Berry will be going over and staying in the Ford camp in 2025. Martin Truex Jr. is expected to drive select races for 23XI Racing in 2025 as they're getting very close to signing a deal. He wants to run the Daytona 500 and wants to run some Xfinity and Truck Series races as well. Most of those coming with Joe Gibbs Racing and Tricon Garage, but we do know Martin Truex Jr. will be driving for 23XI Racing, most likely full-time. Noah Gragson also confirmed about 2 weeks ago that he will be joining Front Row Motorsports in 2025. While the numbers have not been officially announced on what he will run, many believe he'll be driving a 34 car in 2025. The numbers are expected to be announced in the next couple weeks when they do finalize who the third driver will be at the team next year, but Noah Gragson will be at Front Row Motorsports next year. Finally, it was confirmed this past weekend that Cole Custer will be returning to the Cup Series in 2025, joining the Haas factory team and driving the number 41 car. Cole Custer had been rumored for the last few months moving back up the Cup. We knew there were rumors, speculation that was going to happen. Originally, Front Row was being looked at, but we do know that Cole Custer will be moving back up to the Cup Series to join Haas factory in 2025. So those are things that we do know up to this point in the silly season. Let's now talk about the things that we do not know at this point. Let's begin by talking about Riley Herbst. According to reports over the last couple of months, there's a lot of speculation that Riley Herbst is the favorite for the third 23XI Racing car. 23XI Racing is expected to purchase a third charter from Stewart Haas Racing, even though a charter agreement is not done at this point. Riley Herbst's family is expected to help purchase that charter from Stewart Haas Racing since they do have association with SHR, and Riley has, of course, been getting better in the NASCAR Xfinity Series over the course of the last year or so. So it's expected in 2025 that we are going to see Riley Herbst in a third 23XI car, especially with Denny Hamlin tweeting how happy he was that he won at Indianapolis. I do think you'll see him in the Cup Series next season. This means that Corey Heim more than likely will be back in the Truck Series full-time next year. He has been a candidate for the third 23XI Racing seat, but Corey Heim, unlike Riley Herbst, unfortunately does not have a lot of funding and sponsorship. Now, in the near future, Corey Heim will probably be in the Cup Series full-time with either 23XI or Legacy Motor Club. He will run part-time with 23XI Racing most likely next year. In that fourth car, most likely with Martin Truex Jr., maybe Chandler Smith, maybe Carl Lawrence Kerbush if they want to come back. But we could see him potentially move and return to the Cup Series or get some select starts in 2025 and potentially move up. Another driver, though, that is expected to return to 23XI Racing next year is Bubba Wallace. While contract has not been announced for Bubba Wallace to return at this time, many have begun to speculate that Bubba Wallace is expected to return to 23XI Racing next year and sign a multi-year contract to continue driving a 23 car next year. Bubba Wallace has been doing a really solid job this year with 23XI. He's had 8 top 10s and 4 top 5s and has been close to winning multiple races throughout the 2024 season. And he's been close to winning some races. I think Bubba Wallace more than likely will win before the end of this year with the pace and speed they've been showing, and I think it's very likely he will make the playoffs once again in 2025, and he'll be back in the 23 car. There has been a ton of chatter circulating about Hailie Deegan over the course of the last few weeks. We know Hailie Deegan will not be back with AIM Racing for 2025 as she lost her ride about a couple weeks ago. But over this weekend, there began to be a lot of chatter that she could be joining the Haas factory team in the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year, either driving the 98 or the 00. Hailie Deegan does bring a little sponsorship or funding with her, but it is expected that she could be in the Xfinity Series full-time next year. If she does go, I think she goes to the 98 and takes over Riley Hurst, who, like I said, will likely be up in the Cup Series with 2311 next year. I think you see Hailie Deegan move to Xfinity. She likely could have a veteran teammate with her, as Joe Custer sees a lot of potential and hopes to have her in that car next season. A driver that could be joining the Ford camp altogether is Sam Mayer, as he is a front runner to join Front Row Motorsports in the third car next year. We do know at this point that Noah Gragson and Todd Gillen are going to be two of the teammates, but Sam Mayer's name has been linked as one of the higher likely candidates to go to this team. Sam Mayer, I think, has been doing a really good job in Xfinity this year, though he's been inconsistent at times, and I think they're going to want that consistency to be a little bit higher for him. That being said, I do think Sam Mayer has a great chance and a really strong possibility to move up to the Cup Series full-time in 2025. The other lead candidate that could join Front Row's third seat is Zane Smith. There's a ton of speculation that Zane Smith, more than likely, is going to go ahead and join Front Row Motorsports and go back to Front Row. We'll talk about SVG here in just a second. But Zane Smith is expected to not be in the third Trackhouse car next season. And Zane does bring a little bit of sponsorship with him, so more than likely you're going to see Zane Smith join the third Front Row seat potentially if Sam Mayer does not get the seat. There was talk that Christian Eckes potentially could be a candidate for this third front row seat for next year. However, talks have dropped very, very quickly. And now if he is going to go Cup, it'll likely be Colin Racing. There was talk he could go to Colin Racing part-time at some point this year. But that, of course, did not end up happening. If he doesn't go to Colin Racing in any sort of capacity this year, he will most likely stick around in the Truck Series and still be winning a lot of races with Corey Heim next year. I think there's a good chance he does move up, but as of right now, there's a good chance he could also stay in the Truck Series in 2025. Speaking of Shane Van Gisbergen, we have not had official announcement on this at this point, but it is expected that Shane Van Gisbergen is going to get the third Trackhouse Racing seat in 2025. Shane Van Gisbergen has been doing a really good job in Xfinity. I've talked about it a lot on this channel. He's been getting better at ovals, and we know Trackhouse Racing really likes Shane Van Gisbergen. He's been winning races over in Xfinity, 3 wins, which is still the most of anybody in Xfinity. If you told me that coming in the beginning of the year, I would have laughed at you. I think SVG has been getting much better, and I do expect that he will most likely be in the NASCAR Cup Series full-time with WeatherTech and Wendy's working with him in 2025. A Trackhouse prodigy, Connor Zillage, is currently in talks to join Junior Motorsports full-time in 2025. If Sam Mayer does in fact go to Front Row Motorsports next season, I would imagine that he will take over the 1 car next year. He's really high up on Chevy's development pipeline. They really like him a lot, and they would really like to see him be in the Cup Series, not Cup Series, the Xfinity Series next year. If he doesn't go there, if Sam Mayer stays in Xfinity, you could see him go to the 9 car and drive the 9 and take over for Brandon Jones. We know they really want to get him in the team, and we may see him in the NASCAR Xfinity Series full-time in 2025. Now let's talk about Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece is currently in talks, from my understanding, to join multiple organizations. He could join Rick Ware part-time or full-time next year in that number 15 car, as he does have a little bit of funding with him, but many believe he could be going to Haas Factory and be a teammate with Hailie Deegan. Ryan Preece, in my opinion, has done a very solid job at times when he's raced in the Xfinity Series. He's won some Xfinity Series races before, and I do think that Ryan Preece does have some talent. I think he would do a decent job if he got the chance and opportunity, and he is in talks currently as we speak to go to one of these teams in 2025. Another driver who is a candidate for the Haas Factory team is Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton has also been linked to Rick Ware Racing in the past, but I do think there's a great chance that he will join the Haas Factory organization next year. I think there's also a chance he'll go to AM Racing next year, as they're looking for a driver to be a teammate. We know Matt Menado is also a candidate for the AM Racing seat at this point, though he could stay with Viking Motorsports next year. But Harrison Burton is a great chance and possibility that he may be going to a team like Haas Factory in 2025. And finally, let's talk about junior motorsports. We've been talking a lot about junior motorsports potentially going cup racing next year. That more than likely will not be happening in 2025. Junior Motorsports is still focused on the Xfinity Series, and Dale Jr. has stated in recent months they may partner up in the future with Andretti. I think he said they were talking about that at one point, but that's probably not happening either. We do know Junior's interested, but they need to find the money to get it, and charters are currently expensive, and we still don't have a charter agreement done at this point. So there's a chance it could happen, but I don't expect it to really happen at this point going into 2025. So that is the small silly season update. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. Link description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. Do you think Hailie Deegan will drive for Haas? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And what are your thoughts about Bubba Wallace likely returning to 2311? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel will be the big video that I've been working on for a while. Will be the top 100 greatest NASCAR Cup drivers all time, 2025 edition. And then you're also going to see if there's another major news story that breaks, you'll see a video then. Friday will likely be a NASCAR news video dropping as well. And if any other major news breaks throughout the next couple weeks, we'll discuss it here on the channel. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.